Hello YouTube, Got a Radio Moscow here again with another beer review for you, as is usual. Today for this one, obviously I'm going to continue on with my German series of beer reviews, with me being based in Heidelberg in Germany. We're going to have a look at one of the sort of popular mass-produced beers in Germany. In fact, this one I've heard is actually one of the better ones from the Germans. They've told me this is one of the really good industrial beers, so I'm interested to give this guy a try. So today we're going to have a little look at the König Pilsner, which just means King Pilsner, of course, König in German, King. And this guy comes to you from Duisburg, which is in the very sort of not in the very northwest, in the northwestern part of Germany, just near Dusseldorf, Dortmund, that kind of area, the city of Duisburg. But as is usual with my beer reviews, I'll just take you through a brief history of the brewery and give you a little bit of background on the beer. But as I always say, if you are simply just interested in the tasting of this beer, then feel free to go on towards the latter part of the video and you will catch that particular segment. But anyway, this brewery was established in 1858 and it comes from the Beek area of Duisburg, and it's actually most well known for producing this Pilsner, König Pilsner in fact. The founder, Theodor König, was born in 1825 in Openhagen Farm, in a village that is today known as Selm-Kappenberg, and in 1858 he opened the brewery in the district of Beek, which was at the time not actually associated with the city of Duisburg, and he brewed this Pilsner beer in a bottom fermented style, despite the fact that this really wasn't a very popular style for brewing beer in Germany at that time. But the first records of the König Pilsner actually can be traced back to the year 1911, and originally the beer was known for having a distinctive bitter hoppiness. However, it was apparently has been constantly sort of updated, if you like, to match the requirements of a premium lager for mass consumption. So like I say, it is one of the German industrial beers, but I've heard that it's a very, very good one out of all the ones you can get in Germany, in fact. But in February of 2000, the brewery became a subsidiary of the Holsten Group, who you'll probably have heard of, and this was later sold to Carlsberg in 2004. And Carlsberg actually broke up this Holsten Group when they purchased it and sold the König and Leiche breweries to Bitburger, who you'll know as being one of the other major German industrial beer producers. Now, the company are well known for sponsoring several sports teams in the Rhine-Ruhr region in Germany, of course, the very industrial heartland of Germany, or what was formerly, it's in Western Germany, of course. They're one of the big things with that region is the nuclear power stations, all of this sort of thing now. But they're very well known for sponsoring a number of sports teams, and this includes EV Duisburg, who are ice hockey team, and also MSV Duisburg and the football team. If you're into your football, you'll know these guys have been in and out of the Bundesliga over the last 15-20 years or so, a number of times, a bit of a yo-yo team. But they've also, the König Pilsner has actually also sponsored Rot-Weiss Essen as well there. But today their most important product is in fact the König Pilsner, this guy here, although in the 1970s they produced the König Export and the König Malts, both of which have been discontinued since that time. But they introduced the König Pilsner alcohol-frei in 2005, their alcohol-free version of the beer obviously, and they also produced the König Pilsner Lemon between 2006 and 2011, and then they replaced this with a new recipe and renamed it the König Pilsner Radler, and of course a Radler beer in Germany is pretty much what we would call a shandy in the sort of English language, if you like. But let's get on to the tasting of this guy. I'm looking forward to actually giving this guy a try and seeing how we get on. As I say, I've heard that it's one of the better industrial beers in Germany. But there's the label on this one. I actually had to fiddle about with the camera so this guy would show up okay there. I'm not sure how well you can really see it there, but you can see the crown on here. Obviously, as I mentioned, König in German just means the king, and you can just see here it says brewed in accordance with the Reinheitsgebot, gebraut nach dem Reinheitsgebot von 1516. Of course, that was the year that it was introduced here. You can see the crown on the top there. There's the sort of top label, pretty much the same as what's on the main label there, and you can see the bottle cap here. That's basically just this bit here with König Pilsner written on it here. But let's get on with the tasting of this guy here. This guy is a 4.9% Pilsner, as you would probably expect. So let's get it open and get on with the tasting here. See a little bit of smoke on the opening, but not too much. Let's just get this guy into the glass and see how we get on here. I have to admit, a personal opinion here I'm throwing into this beer review is that I think the Germans are the ones who have mastered the sort of industrial beer thing. Even those of people who don't really like the sort of mass-produced beers, if you like, I do think that the Germans are the ones who have mastered this particular style, although you will find some really nice ones from other countries in the world. but I think the Germans really are the ones who have got this down to a T. But as you can see, as you would expect from a premium lager, crystal clear, a very attractive looking beer, maybe just a finger and a half of head on it there, very white, very fluffy, just a little bit of carbonation visible there, but it's a really bright straw golden colour here. In terms of the aroma for this guy, a lot of pale malts as you would expect from the sort of industrial beer. Pale malts, a good bit of sort of floral and grassy kind of hoppy character as well. There's actually a little bit of fruity sweetness to it. I can't quite place what fruit it is though. It's maybe a little bit appley, this one actually, a bit of a kind of orchardy smell, I don't know. But definitely a sort of appley fruit kind of tint to this one, but mainly the sort of grassy and hops and things like that you would expect from an industrial lager, if you like. But yes, it's actually quite a nice smell one, and it looks very attractive. So let's give this guy a taste and see how we get on. It's actually, it tastes quite a bit different from what the aroma would have you believe. There's a big bit of kind of bready and caramel malt in there, and it's, as I say, very, very different to what you pick up from the aroma. The malts in the aroma smell very pale, and it is the sort of grassy and cereally character that you're getting in the aroma there, but a very big bready and sort of a little bit of caramel in there in the malts when you first take this in. Very malty Pilsner, in fact. You're getting some of the grassy and floral character coming out in the hops after you get past that malt base, I think. And there is just a little bit of sweetness from fruit in there again. But yeah, it's definitely, this one is a really, really malty Pilsner. A lot of bread, a lot of caramel in there, and you're just getting a little bit of grassy and floral character from the hops when you get past that. But on the aftertaste, that sort of bready and bready malt is really pushing through again, and there is a good bit, just maybe a little bit of cereal spice to that. In fact, when you get the cereals in the beer, it does give them just that little bit of spice, and that's really pushing through with this beer as well, in my opinion. You can see that it's leaving some nice lacing, and that head has just sort of gone down to a kind of nice thin layer at the moment. But in terms of an industrial beer, I can see where the Germans kind of speak quite highly of this one. It is really nice to have that big malty base in a Pilsner. Usually a lot of industrial beers can be quite bland, but this one does have something a little different in that kind of strong malt base that it has. I have to admit, I really like this one in terms of the industrial beer. Really interesting. But yeah, that bready character is really well done actually. In terms of the mouth with this one, I'd say it's light bodied. The sort of bready character does make it seem a bit more mid-bodied, if you like, but I would definitely describe it as light-bodied because the carbonation in it does have a little bit of an attack, so it comes in and makes it very easy drinking. It is quite a crisp one, in fact. This would be an ideal one, you know, for if you want something a little heavier just on a summer's day. But yeah, it's a very fresh one, and as I say, I really like that, to have a bit of a bigger bready malt base on this one, and this one does it really well. But it's definitely light bodied, although it is pushing towards mid bodied, I would say. Very easy drinking, a good bit of crispness with it, a little bit of an attack from the carbonation, and that adds to it. That makes it a bit more easy drinking, even though it feels a little bit more mid-bodied than light-bodied, if you like. But it's actually it's a very fresh beer, and as I say, I really like this one because of the malt base in it. And if you do like a big malty Pilsner, you know, give this guy a try. And as I said earlier in the video, I think the Germans really are the masters of the sort of industrial beer production, if you like. Obviously you've got Bitburger, Kronbacher, all of these sort of guys, but this one's another interesting one, and I don't remember ever seeing this one back in Scotland, so something interesting for you to pick up if you do get the chance. And from what I understand, it is quite popular throughout Germany. But anyway, I hope you found this beer review informative, if you like. If you've tried this guy yourself, please let me know in the comments section your own thoughts on this video. It's always interesting to hear other people's thoughts on the video, of course. But thanks again for watching my beer reviews, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers.